So today I'll be cooking some green beans. You'll need some beef, some fresh green beans, carrots, sweet potatoes, and onions, garlic, jalapeno, green pepper, fresh tomato and parsley, scallion, ground sage, bay leaf, smoked paprika, soy sauce, black pepper, olive oil, balsamic vinegar, cayenne pepper, and salt. And if you are vegetarian, you don't have to put the meat at all, and it tastes as great as the one with the meat. And you can also cook it with some chicken. So first you want to put the beef in the pot. I've also added I've already added the oil, and I don't let my oil get too heated. I just let it get warm. I would say about 4 minutes. Once you put the oil in the pot, just close it for like 4 minutes. Sometimes even three is enough, and then you can add the meat. And sometimes I don't even need to close the pot. Just watch it for 3 minutes and put the meat in it. And while I'm doing that, I'm boiling my green beans, and all I added is some salt. And I like my green beans to be really soft. Some people like it just a little bit cooked, so it depends how you want them. But you don't wanna overcook your green beans as well. So I added some soy sauce there in the meat and just mix it very well. And you want to close it, make sure there is no more water. So now I'm pounding the garlic. I always pound the garlic first, and if I add ginger, I do the garlic and the ginger first before adding anything else. It just make it easier. And then I added the parsley. So I have the garlic and the parsley. And the parsley is also optional as well. I just like the flavor it gives to your dish. And then I added some scallion. Sometimes I freeze it. It makes it easier to pound, but I didn't have time to do that. So you can also pound it fresh. It doesn't make any difference, except from just making it easier to pound. But the taste is the same. And then I added the bell pepper and the jalapeno and pound it very well. And as I mentioned, as I've mentioned over and over, you can use a blender. And I added some onions, just a little bit, not too much. Make sure it's all mixed together. And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and add my seasoning. So I added some black pepper and then some smoked paprika. I love smoked paprika. And then some ground sage. And I will add a little bit of cayenne pepper, not too much. Although I like spicy food, I don't make it spicy for those who don't eat spicy food in the house. And then mix it all together. And I'm gonna use just a little bit of it, because I'm gonna use the other part for later. I'm gonna save it for later. And mix it all together. And what it does is just give it some flavor. And I'll close it back. As I've said earlier, you just want to make sure there is no more water, and my green beans are boiling on the side. And then I add some water, and that is about 3.5 cups or so. And I know you'll be like, how do you know? I measure just to make sure that's what I added. And then I added the potatoes, and I have like the sweet potato and just the plain potatoes, and then the baby carrots. The reason why I didn't add the baby carrots because it's easy to cook, and I don't want it overcooked. And my green beans are done and strained. I'm just waiting for my meat to cook, and this beef cooked really quick. And I'm gonna add some bay leaf. I just like the smell of it. You don't have to if you don't like it. And as you can see, my sweet potato and the plain one is cooked. It's more than cooked. It's a little bit overcooked. Some of them you can see. So I just take it out. Because if you don't take it out, once you add the green beans, it will be all mixed together. Like you won't even be able to see the potatoes anymore. So I just take it out and put it on the side. And Also, you want to make sure your meat is cooked because you cannot put your green beans in unless your meat is cooked. And make sure the seasoning is okay. So this is the, you remember earlier I did use a little bit of that mixture I had in the mortar. So I did use half of it, and the rest of it, that's what I just put right there. So instead of doing it twice, it's the same thing. So I just like pound enough and use once in the beginning, and then the other part use it at the end, so I don't have to do it twice. And then at this point, as I've said, as I said earlier, you want to make sure your seasoning is on point, everything is on point. I'm still waiting for the meat to be done. And now I just added the fresh tomatoes. And you can add it, usually I add it when I just started, but I forgot this time. That's why I just put it in. And then put my baby carrots because it literally take a few minutes to cook. You don't want it overcooked. And now I'm just mixing it together. And now that my meat is cooked, everything is cooked, I just added the green beans. And make sure I mix it very well. And I can see it's still too much water in it. I just want to let it boil, let it cook slowly until, you see, you want to let it cook slowly until the flavor like get into the green bean, like, and you want to make sure it's like you cannot see like lots of water before you're done cooking. So I added some balsamic vinegar over there, just a little bit. And you can add any type of vinegar as well. That is optional. Or don't add any if you don't want to. Voila, bon appetit.